the oil. So this is about 20,000 miles or so, and not even checking the oil the entire time really, or adding oil is what I mean. You can see here it's at the lowest level. I did start the car right before just to get it to go throughout the engine, but I would say that this is probably an accurate reading here, that it's at the lower end. So about a quart, I would say, or half a quart, probably low, burning off, you know, for the whole entire period of the oil change. Another thing I wanted to do is the brake fluid is going to be changed out, and I wanted to kind of inspect the ABS system, make sure before I start pumping through, none of the lines are leaking. There's no issues there. It doesn't look like there's any loss of fluid. And I wanted to also double check, and this is how low or accurate the brake fluid level is. It is a little bit dark. It's hit 2 years. It also needs to be done. I'm going to be doing a brake flush on the MDX and a Ridgeline. They both hit a 2-year mark for the brake fluid. And I don't see any leaks or anything down there. Here, I'm going to try to evacuate all the old brake fluid out of the reservoir before I start pouring in new one. So I have this baster syringe that I use to suck out of it. So it's got a little hole here, it sucks it up into here, and then I just put it in a container. So I can try to do that. And right now it's a little bit low, so we'll just see how much I can extract out of there. I might not be able to get as much with this filter in the way. Yeah, it's in the way, so let me try to take this out. So here I have the filter screen. I know it's a little hard to see. Maybe I'll just turn this light off and be able to see it a little bit better. So the filter screen that's in there, that stops large debris, I had to remove. And now I can stick it further down into the reservoir and suck up all this dirty old fluid. I don't want to go too far, and it will leak out a little bit, but should be good. So I'll just put it here and push it out gently because I don't want it to explode out of anywhere or shoot off. And I'll do this a few more times until it's completely gone out of the reservoir before I start pumping new fluid in. Okay, so here we have the old brake fluid, and there it's pretty much to the bottom. There's still some remnants in there, but I'll go ahead and pour new fluid in and then pump it out there. So I'm not too worried about it. I just want to get a lot of the debris or whatever that dark stuff was, dirt and contaminants out, and then it'll make the job a little bit easier when we're pumping out. We don't have to pump as long or as hard. I went ahead and looked and I saw it was DOT3, so I picked up some Prestone DOT3 synthetic. And this is what I'll use for the MDX. 2022 and up MDX, just verify it. I'll put a link there, or a little window showing the exact maintenance guide. All right, let's go ahead and put this little thing back in, this little filter, and we'll start pouring until it gets up to the top here. It's got to go through that little screen first, so it's taking a little while. Just make sure you clean it up if you do a little drip. You don't want that to go all the way down. And just repeat this. So I filled it back up. You can kind of see clear, clean fluid right now. And I'm going to be moving to the back of the car. I already removed the front, and now I'll remove the rear and I'll get started. Here's my setup. I have my catch can and I have my nipple here to put on the bleed screw. So you just need to take off this rubber piece. Just like every other car, there's a protector on there. I'll look at what size this thing is here, whether it's an 8 or a 10. I'll loosen it just slightly. I'll put this on here, and then I'll start pumping the brakes, and it will eventually come out here. So I kind of had a feeling that maybe Acura didn't do their own brakes, because they went from 8 or 10 millimeter to 11. So yeah, I think the fronts are going to be not 10, 12, 14, and 17 like we are used to. So 11 millimeter for the rear. And let's go ahead and put this nipple on, and then I can turn it however open that I feel and just adjust as I go along. All right, so fluid's already coming in. I'm gonna keep going and watch the level. And I'm gonna go refill. I had to go ahead and start the car because the pedal did end up getting a little bit hard, so I loosened a little bit more, and now I'm pressing it through and it looks like it's coming out clear. All right, and we're ready to tighten this up. Just nice and snug, not over tight. Okay, and clean that. And then I always worry about the dripping. So usually what I try to do, instead of it being high, I remove this hanger, take it down, and let it drain into the cylinder or the catch can. So let's see if I can do this without making complete utter mess. There we go. And it's drained back into the item. And then I added this little contraption here. You can see it, but a little nipple I can put it on so that way it can hang without dripping all over my floor. And then I'll clean this up with some brake fluid and make sure there's no more leaks. I didn't have any brake cleaner, so I'm using Simple Green. And just cleaning just a little bit of spill that I had under there. There's a little drip right at the beginning, so not too worried about it. I'm sure it'll clear right off. Didn't go anywhere. The pads are still really, really thick. You can take a look there. I don't know if you can even see it. Pad thickness is still pretty good for 20,000 miles. And torque them down. And right rear, same thing, get some fluid in there. So just to let you know, I just double checked, and guess what? 10 millimeter in the front. Can you believe that? That's crazy. Yeah, not an 11 like the rears. All right, so we got it clear fluid through here, and just tightening this. We're done with this side. Same procedure on this side. I just wanted to mention this little rubber cap is on my passenger side, and for whatever reason it's not on the driver's side. So don't forget to remove the rubber thing, which is a step that is important if you don't want corrosion if you're up in the north. So let's go ahead and get started. Here we go.
Alright, it's not open enough, so I'm going to turn it a little bit more. It's not really draining anything. So, one more time. Alright, I'm going to have to adjust with it on. There we go. I think that'll probably be it. All right, not quite clear yet. And that's about down one of the course there, so I think that's okay right there. Slightly tighten, and then I'll go back and do just a little bit more. And we're done. So at the end, I filled it up, and you can see that it is really clear now. And that's the max line right there. I just decided to go up to about 75%, just so that way, when it comes time to do my brake pads and, I don't know, 50,000, 70,000 miles, it won't be to the top, and then I'll have to, when I'm pushing the pads out or whatever, it won't overflow. Normally don't do that. You'll break a line open and you pump it out, so it won't do it, but I'm just not going to the top in case I decide to do that later. All items due. Set completed.